Beyond. This is the biggest mover of the morning. Highest volume with a big gap. Let's see what the news here. Partners with Pizza Hut to offer Beyond Pan pizzas. Interesting. Pizza Hut plummets more than 25% as COVID-19 takes a bite out of earnings. So earnings results came out and they tried to hide it with some Pizza Hut news. So this one actually was earnings yesterday in Beyond, because it had a big red day yesterday. Monday, after the close. Okay, so this announced earnings here, plummeted down to 105. That makes sense. So that's bringing us all the way down to these levels. We're down to 116 now, we went down to 105. So we're in this range. 120 is a big support level in the stock. These massive moves down bounce right off of that 120 level. And then 110, of course, nice round numbers, and 100. So all the round numbers on the daily chart. Beyond is probably the one we're going to focus on with trading today. Carnival down 3.3% now. We'll see what that one does. Aurora bouncing. It's down 13%. Pretty big move. JMIA coming up a little bit. Here we go. Beyond giving us a bit of an opportunity. Where might we want to buy this one? 150. No, we're down here. 123. And 124 if it gets up that high for a potential reversal. I'm going to put in a little bit of a fishing order here. Try and get in on this reversal at a decent price. And not getting filled. Not getting filled. Not enough buying power. Oh, that's why I was trying to get in a little earlier. Can I get filled now? There. Okay. I didn't want to get in at that high of a price because it'll eat up all of our buying power for the day. But this one has some momentum downward. And we deserve one big trade, right? 122 up here. Resistance. Our entry is down here at 118. Let's change this to yellow so you can see. So our target should be at least 114. However, our target is going to be probably 110. We'll take 1R if we can get it. Did you get a call? No, I got a put. Taking this on a breakdown of 120, major SR in this one, and it's breaking under it. All right, Beyond is getting annoying here. Too big of a loss in this small account, way too big. So I need to get out. But it is dying to move down. Nope. Capital preservation. Bad trade. We get out. We get out here. Undercut, 320. $172 loss. That's way too big of a loss. Max loss was 50, but it spiked through 50. And then so this whole time we were waiting for it to reverse and give it a chance. What I was watching in this one, so Beyond I still think is going to come down. I still do. But what I was watching in this one is it came up to here, this 1880 this move up, and then it came up and tested this again. And what it was really testing was this 119 level. You could see it was resistance in pre-market, support on the first candle of the day, kind of tested it here, tested it here, tested it here, stayed under. But once it broke over and broke over the wick that poked through 119, that told me, okay, this is a 50-50 trade. This is either going, I know almost all trades are technically 50-50, but they're not. You have a little bit of an edge. Once we shorted this under support, because it broke down under support, we have a little bit of an edge that it has more bearish momentum than bullish momentum. It'll more likely go down than up. And it did go down, just not enough. But once it broke above this wick, it's in the middle of the range. It has bearish momentum, but that was just canceled out by setting a new high over this SR level at 119. So that told me, okay, this is a 50-50 trade, and I don't want to gamble on 50-50. It sucks how much we had to lose on this trade. That's the way it was managed. It's the nature of these quick spikes in options. They just kill option prices very, very, very fast. You saw that. We were up $200 in profit, down to -50 in 2 minutes. But because this turned into 50-50, there's no longer any edge, even though it didn't come up to my stop. That told me, get out, because on one side of the gamble, it can come back down, and we could see $100 in profit again. We could see some profit again, or it can move up and we lose the account. Because this trade was so big, because the option prices are so big, they took up all of the buying power in this account. It was not worth holding onto this one to find out. And you can see in hindsight, this is now up to 410, which was, our entry was 492. So loss cut in half with where the price is right now, fine. But it was a 50-50 gamble, and I'm not willing to gamble on this small account challenge. This trade lost its edge. It was no longer worth holding. But up until that point, up until it broke this wick, up until that point, it still had a little bit of bearish edge to it, despite this big green move. Granted, in hindsight, my 1R was 114. I should have just gotten out at 114. Once I saw it bounce off of 114 and then this green candle came up, I was thinking, okay, well, that's not 114. That's not my 1R, so I didn't get out. But once it came down again, I should have gotten out here. Or on this, I couldn't get out on this next candle because that's the one that just instantly popped up. But I should have gotten out around here. That's hindsight. I didn't know. It bounced off of 114, didn't give me a chance to get out at 114, and then it broke under. And this candle breaking under looks like, if you saw this on a chart up until this point, that looks like it's breaking down. You see 114 is a support level in this. It bounced off of that support level, support on 2 candles, and then broke down with a close all the way at the bottom. When you have no wick at the bottom, that means there's a lot of momentum, that this didn't hesitate at all in this move during this 1 minute candle. It was down the whole time, and it closed at its low. That's a very bearish sign. But then you get this, all of a sudden, this massive green candle with this giant market order come in. I should have got out at 115, but I think it just instantly spiked up to 116, killed the option price, came down a little bit and moved up. I never got a chance to get out at 115. It's not like this green candle slowly came up and I was like, okay, well, it broke over this green candle high. I want to get out over that, because that would have been a good time to get out. But it just spiked up to 116 here. And then it slowly made its way up. And because it slowly made its way up with decreasing volume, smaller decelerating candles, the momentum was decelerating. It was getting slower and slower and slower. And just like throwing a ball in the air, as it decelerates, once it reaches its the top of its arc, which was right here, lowest volume, smallest candle, doji, 2 in a row, in fact. This no longer has any bullish momentum. You would see this curl back down, but it didn't. However, it tested resistance now at this previous high. Tested resistance, tested support, then on 118, that was the first red flag. When it broke through this resistance, set a higher high. The 119 resistance set a higher high, and then it broke down under 118, but it was supported up by this 118 level, this yellow level where we ended up entering at. That was my first red flag. And then it broke. So this is the higher low. It finally set a higher low. It finally bounced off of a support level. So this was its first higher low, which is a red flag, and then I want to see a higher high after this, which confirms to me that this has now lost its bearish edge, and it did by breaking over this high, and so we got out there. Even though it was a massive loss for a small account, it's unlucky that this move right here, this big green candle, happened, that you could see how fragile trades can be. And that's why there's different strategies. There's scalping strategies. 2 people in chat here made small wins in this one, scalping this. That worked out great for you. And you had different buying powers, of course. But with with this account in this trade, we wanted to see this down to 110 or at least at 114, but we never had a chance to sell at 114 except for this red candle. But this red candle, again, if you're in the moment, this looks like it's going to break down, closes completely red, no wick, and then instantly the next second later up to 116. So there is really no point to get out of this one. And I hope that clarifies a little bit. You guys can look at this in hindsight and say, geez, you're up $200 in profit on a $500 account. That's like, we're up like 35 to 37%. Massive, massive, massive trade, massive win. But I'm not going to get out based on profits. That's why I didn't get out. I didn't get out because I don't exit a trade based on my P&L. I don't consider my P&L when I exit a trade. What I'm watching is this trade come down, come down, come down, bounce off of my 1R level, 114, not give me a chance to get out at 114. My 1R, my target's down at 110. I want to see this down to 110. So here's what we're looking at on the chart. We have entry under the lows, stop over the highs, breakdown, and then we have this coming down, bounce off of our 1R with this 114 level. On the bounce off of the 1R, that's not when you get out at 1R. You get out at 1R when it comes down, attempts to hit your target, and then comes back up and it doesn't succeed in hitting your target. So now that this broke through on this candle here, I'm thinking, okay, if this comes back up because it broke lows, so that's its attempt towards the target. If it past the 1R, it's making its attempt. It started its attempt. If the attempt fails now, any candle after this that comes up to 114, I will get out, right? That's what's going through my head. But everything about this chart right here looks like this wants to continue down towards 110. And then the next candle, you get an instant spike. You can see the open was right here, 113. Came down ever so slightly, continuing the momentum from the previous candle, and then instantly up to 116. I'll watch the replay on the video of this one to make sure it wasn't just me not paying attention. But this instantly spiked up to 116. No chance to get out when I said I want to get out at 114. So now this is instantly, because there's so much volume in this, because the time it took to make this move was so small, ate up all of the profits. Profits gone. We're now at break even though we're past our entry. But it's testing this decent SR level, this 116 level. Some of you took an entry short under 116. So now we want to see this as resistance. You can see it was resistance with this wick pulled down, close at this level. But then it broke through. And so we're thinking, okay, well, this still has slight bearish edge. 118 is still resistance. It's still under these levels. This might just be taking a little bit of a pullback because down to 110 is a pretty big move. So if it does it as a staircase, that's totally fine. You can see at this point, it looks like it's curling under that 118 resistance, and imagine a couple more red candles coming down and then testing these lows. That's what's going through my head. But then we get this, breaks through 118. Okay, well, it's still not up at the stop. That's not good. But let's see what it does. We still have this previous high and the low support of this starting candle, the open of the starting candle around 119 area. So we have 119 as a bit of SR. So let's see what it does with that. It doesn't close over 119 here. And then we get a red candle testing 118 now. Testing 118 still kind of broke through, but is held up. Doesn't close under 118. So now we're thinking, okay, now this is finding support. First red flag lower, or first red flag higher low. And then this comes up to 120. And then you could see it bounced off of 118 again, and then came close to our stop 122. So we got out here as it came up over this previous high after setting a higher low. It told me this was now trending up. Our edge was gone. Get out of this trade. Much bigger loss than I wanted to. That's part of small accounts, and option prices can be expensive. You can see these are around $5, around the full account size. So we put almost 100% of the account buying power. You can see only $19 in buying power left. We put almost 100% of the account buying power in this one. So options are very volatile. If the option makes a 20% move, that's a 20% move in our whole account. So that's what was unfortunate about it. But again, even though this came down, had a huge win at this point, I don't trade on P&L. I trade on what the chart shows me. And throughout this trade, the chart didn't give me a winning trade. So this ended up being a losing trade at this point on this last candle here. So that was our Beyond trade. Slightly unfortunate. We ended up taking a $172 loss. We'll make it back, I'm sure. I'm not too worried. We'll take some small trades. We'll make sure not to take a $5 contract, but that happens in trading. I hope that makes sense to all of you watching, either on the stream on Twitch or on YouTube. I hope that this helps you understand a lot of the mentality that goes on behind trading. And it's this type of mentality that, yes, it can create a pretty big loss in a small account challenge while I'm streaming. I'm not trading my full-time trading account, where it wouldn't have been, this one put wouldn't have been 90% of my buying power. So situational, bigger loss than it should have been. But overall, the fundamentals behind what happened in this trade, I hope you all understand and can learn from that in your own trades. That even though this results in a loss, this is the type of structure that results in a win in the long term. So we might have a loss on this single trade. This is one loss, one losing trade. But we can have 100 wins after this. As long as you are green in the long run, that's what matters. And on that note, as I am out of buying power, thank you all for watching. Thank you for stopping by this stream. Anybody who stopped by who is new, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching the YouTube video. Wherever you are viewing this from, I appreciate you being here. I hope you have learned something from this. I hope you've learned something from my trading. Stay updated with the small account challenge. Follow on Twitter, Instagram, StockTwits, the blog post, inlighttrading.com/post/SAC. I'll type it in Twitch chat here. Follow the blog post, keeps everything updated if you want to keep learning from this small account challenge. And remember, the small account challenge the objective is not to make money and get rich off of this small account. The objective for me is to experience as many learning opportunities as I can, throwing this money at the market and experiencing as many different segments of trading as I can with this, so that I can give you guys and girls and anybody who's watching, anybody who passes by, give you all a lesson on what happens in the small account challenge. It's not all about the money, which is kind of a mixed message. For you growing your own small account challenge, it should be about the money. But I want to experience these educational opportunities for you so that you don't have to go through these yourself, and instead you know better heading into these situations. And I hope that is preferred by all of you. If you would rather me just focus on growing this account and making seeing how high I can grow this account, let me know. Let me know in the comments, let me know in chat, let me know on Twitter, let me know wherever. And I can switch my objective, or at least think about switching my objective for a short period of time, if that's what you all think will help you better. I don't know what's going to help you best, you need to give me that input. But I personally think that the educational opportunities are what's going to help you best. So that's what I'm focusing on now. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow morning, bright and early. If you are in the States, if you're on the West Coast like me, very bright and early. Otherwise, whenever the market opens for you, I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.